Welcome to the Frustration of Freedom podcast. My name is Mike Bemis, Senior Advisor Development Consultant at Simplicity Minneapolis. I got my partner in crime, my co-host here, Jeremy Karja, also Senior Advisor Development Consultant at Simplicity Minneapolis. Jeremy, we're going to talk about pillars today, 10 core pillars of marketing, and super excited about that.
Yeah, this is going to be one they'll have to listen to a few times, I think, Mike, because this is how Mike Steranka built a $40 million a year business, Mike. So this is huge for the people.
Yeah, if you want to learn how Mike Steranka did $40 million a year for 15 years in a row, all by himself, no downline agents, just him in his office. And eventually, and we saw this, Jeremy, only working 4 to 5 days a month and still doing that production.
I'll never forget, we had a training class in the lower level of his office, and he ran up for lunch while we covered a couple of things and extended lunch. It was like a couple hours, came back down and announced to the group he had done 3 cases for $2.2 million over that little 2-hour extended lunch. And I was like, yeah, this guy is a little different than some of my advisors who do that in a year. He did in the afternoon.
He did it in one afternoon. Yep. And it's because, and so we're going to talk about the 10 core pillars. We've talked about some of these a little bit already. We're going to highlight each one of them. Again, if you come join Team Elevate, we're going to talk about how to implement these in your practice. And I love talking to my advisors. Talking to one of my other top advisors. We have a Wednesday call every single week, and really just talking about how, some of his pillars are working, some of them aren't, but they're all working at different times. And so he consistently is in front of qualified people because he's using multiple pillars. He's not just doing one thing, right?
Yeah.
Give me some examples and maybe some advisors do you have, Jeremy, that are using the pillars and how it's working for them?
Yeah, it's amazing. Like one of my top advisors does around just under 30 million a year. And Mike, I told him, I asked him the question one time. I said, well, let's grade each of the 10 pillars. How well are you doing on each one? And the truth was, he's like, I'll give an A on this one, but this one I'm a B. This one I'm maybe a B minus. This one maybe I'm a B plus, and the rest are like I'm failing, Fs. Like I'm not even doing them, or I'm like doing them really poorly. And I said, imagine if you did all 10 pillars and you're giving yourself a B plus to an A range. How much production would you do? And he said 100 million, no doubt, 100 million. So that's what these pillars have in the tank. And a little shout out to our other podcast we did. Maybe go back and listen to the A tier marketing podcast, because each of these 10 pillars actually fall, I believe, in the A tier marketing class. So that's a little bit of a tip. And doesn't mean you don't do B tier marketing, but the 4 classes of A tier marketing are huge to really help with that advisor hit that next level.
100%. And I would say that you brought up a good point there, Jeremy, because as we go through these pillars, you do not need to do all of them at once. Okay.
You'll do okay.
We need to start with 1 or maybe 2.
Yes.
And then we'll start adding more and more and more as we go, right? As you get the systems, as you build the staff, as you get one pillar working right, then let's add another pillar. Okay.
Yes.
And I don't have to be perfect at all of them, but I want to keep getting 2% better every single week or every single quarter on these. So let's rock and roll. Let me share my screen here. We're going to go through them.
And as Mike is sharing his screen, some people say to us, well, Jeremy, that's impossible. I've been doing this 20 years, 30 years, 40 years. One guy cannot do 40 million a year. He has to have downline. He has to be splitting tickets. It just mathematically doesn't make sense. And then you're trying to say he works 3 to 7 days a month in his last few years before he hung it up. And once we go through these pillars, you're going to see, okay, I can see now how he did 40 million a year if he was following these the way he says. So, yeah.
Yep. Okay. Let's start out. Number 1, annual reviews. Working with existing clients, right?
Yes.
Jeremy, why is it important to do annual reviews?
So the importance of it is you have so many opportunities that flow from an annual review. Some people think, oh, it's just to keep my clients happy and so they don't leave or replace me. That's not the way you do annual reviews. You turn annual reviews into money-making machines for you. And how you do that is, number 1, you keep that client super happy, right? You do a really good job. You give them Godiva level service. Number 2, you're always uncovering additional assets. And there's a lot of keys and arts to that. Talk about our money in motion conversation should be having with every annual review. You should be having that, hey, if you have $50,000 or more of money in motion, your first call is to your spouse, your second call is to me. You should have a written script around that, and you should bring it up to that client 2-3 times a year, and your staff should. And then also, after uncovering money, let's say there's nothing else, you got it all. Maybe you don't do AUM, or you already have that. If you do, there's always money in motion, right? There's 25% of your book every single year has either got a house, sold a house, got a job, lost a job, got an inheritance, right? Some sort of large life event happens. Somebody passed away. Yep. Some sort of large life event. So are you prepared for that? Do they know your first call is to their loved one and their second call is to you? And then the other huge one, Mike, which we'll touch on here next, is referrals in the annual reviews. Anything else I missed on the annual reviews, Mike?
The only thing I was going to say is one thing that's really helped my producers with the annual reviews is using the asset summary.
Yes.
If you're using that asset summary, you're now uncovering those assets. You're uncovering those money, that money in motion. Oh, this person, another one we forgot to mention, 59 and a half. Oh, Sally turned 59 and a half. Oh, guess what? They inherited some money. Oh, this current annuity is out of surrender, or hey, maybe we can replace it. It was accumulation. Now we need income, right? But if we're using an asset summary, that's really going to help you uncover that money in motion. All right.
Yeah, that's just real quick on that. When you're doing that, it's all part of the gear system we always talk about, right? You're letting them know that you're updating their personal financial inventory binder. So, hot tip. If you don't have one of those, get one of those. And basically, you're telling them, hey, we're going to update that all the time. And you give them a net worth statement. Think if you're in your client's shoes. If you see a net worth statement, $52,000 net worth, but you have that other $400,000, you haven't told that advisor, and you have this beautiful binder that you're putting this net worth statement in there that's incorrect. How often, Mike, are our advisors uncovering additional assets? Yeah, that beauty right there. A little tap on the front. Yeah, that's it. And basically, you're uncovering additional assets every time you're doing that net worth statement. If they're hiding something, which a lot of times they are. I hear that all the time. Like, my clients don't trust me. They don't tell me all the assets. Right, Mike?
I'm sorry. If you're listening to this, and I'm not trying to be mean, you don't have all your clients' money.
Yes, you do.
I'm sorry. I love you. I think you're an amazing advisor, but you don't have all their money.
Yep. 100% true. And then again, if for some reason you do have their money at the time, or they're not willing to share with you what else they have at the time, you're going to get referrals. If you have a script and a process around that, and you've been dropping that pebble in the pond about, hey, we work with good people like you, we're going to ask you for referrals at some point. Mm-hmm. They're going to get you referrals anyway, which leads us into the next one, right, Mike? Tell us about referrals and the second pillar.
And it all comes back to the personal financial inventory binder. If I'm treating my clients first class, Godiva type of treatment, that's when with the personal financial inventory binder, I've earned the right for referral, right? I've done something that nobody else has. I've treated them great. You've earned the right to ask for referrals, right? And I'm just going to say really quick, I have this little binder next to 1 through 6. That is because if you do the binder, they're going to bring it in for the interview. You're using this as a Godiva treatment to get more referrals. Yeah. Sometimes we're going to talk about future sales in a second, but you get a future sale because you put together a binder for them. You mentally made them a client, right? I have their information in there. We're gonna get inheritance. We're gonna sale the home. The money in motion is happening because I put together the personal financial inventory binder.
Yeah, that's so true, Mike. It's a gear system. I know you get sick of us saying that, but you got to do all the different pieces. And that's why you need coaches to help you along the way. We'll see those blind spots. I'll never forget when I was looking and searching for just a personal coach for myself, even though I was getting great coaching already. Michael Jordan had a lot of coaches. I figured, why not me? Not saying I'm the GOAT or anything like that, but basically you want to have those good coaches helping you, seeing those blind spots. And when I was searching for a coach, I was interviewing coaches, and I was basically telling them what I need is really just somebody to see my blind spots and keep me accountable. I don't need a lot of like training on what I do because I study it so much and so well already. I mean, I'll take that too, but that's really what I need. So that's why you need a coach to kind of walk you through some of those blind spots. And I did want to point out too, Mike, pillars 1 through 6 and number 8 all fall in the category of the A-tier marketing category of working your existing book. So if you have an existing book, we're walking you through exactly how to market and utilize that existing book to the 100th degree. You know, so many people are sitting on gold mines. I talk to them almost daily. They just don't know how to mine it. Well, we're giving you those steps kind of to mine it. And then the other A-tier marketing will be hit in 7, 9, and 10. So
yeah, there you go. Well, just really quick on referrals. Again, if you're giving that first class treatment, you've earned the right to ask for a referral. You know, and you should be averaging 1 referral from each client each year. So averaging, I'm not saying everybody's going to give you a referral. Some people are going to give you 2 or 3, but you should be able to average 1 referral from a client every single year. You know, everybody, oh, Mike Stranka did seminars. That's how he did all his business. He did 1/3 of his business from seminars. 1/3 of it was referrals, and then 1/3 of it was from mining his existing book.
Yeah, so true.
And so we're gonna do it. We're gonna do an episode just on referrals.
Yeah.
Okay, with some of those scripts and role plays and all that stuff. But the core point of it is, who can you introduce? Who do you care about that we can help together? That I can put through the same process. Somebody just like you, same stage of life, same level of life that you are. That we can help. Okay, I love saying we can help because people like helping people, right?
Yeah.
And also, it comes down to getting that personal introduction. You don't want to chase people. I don't like chasing people, right? And so if you can get that personal introduction and book a time with us, we'll talk about how to do that. That's how you really get referrals. That's actually how, that's how you really make that pillar start to work. So
yeah. And
future sales. Let's keep rolling here.
Yeah.
This is a big one, Jeremy.
Yeah.
And I think a big pillar that is not used in the industry.
Yes, agreed.
Because you don't have a sale right now, Jeremy. Why am I going to do the work when I don't have a sale?
I need to feed my family this month, not next year.
This month. Yeah. So,
Yeah.
Jeremy, what's a future sale?
Yeah, so a future sale is just like it sounds. You're setting up a sale you're going to do in the future. So let's say you meet with client XYZ and they have a couple $1 million, but it's all tied up in a 401k that doesn't allow in-service distributions and maybe some annuities that are not out of surrender and you can't really replace them right now. And maybe they have an extra home that they're going to sell after the kids move out. Right? They got, 3 future sales sitting right there. I'm kind of winding them all into one. But you basically drop that pebble in the pond of, hey, what's the plan with that home? What are you going to sell it? Are you going to keep it after retirement? You're asking the right questions. So it all comes back to, are you asking the right questions in the first meeting and then making a little note on your CRM that, hey, future sale, ! Check in on this date. Right? On each of these opportunities, having you or your staff do that. And you're just setting it up for the future. Probably the easiest and most favorite one is simply a 401k that they can't do business with. And you say, hey, listen, when you come in, we can't move this money now. Let me show you on our software, when you move it, how much additional income it's going to produce for you. Mike, it's going to produce around $52,000 a year of guaranteed income for the rest of your life. And when you die, your spouse gets it. When you both die, the kids get the remaining balance. Pretty sweet, huh? And you show them in a simple black and white format with our, income for life software. They're going to get it. And you know what they're going to think of? They're going to think, hey, that Mike Bemis guy. Remember he showed us, honey, $52,000 a year guaranteed? He said when we turn 59 and a half, I think he said he's going to bring in a little cupcake with a candle and have a 59 and a half party for us or something like that, right? I mean, we better call him because that's coming up, right? And now all of a sudden,
you need to have on your CRM, Jeremy. I'm gonna have Jeremy and Catherine on my CRM, and I'm like, Jeremy, happy 59 and a half birthday.
Yep.
Remember the thing I showed you? It's time to come in.
Yep. Right? Don't bank on your clients, remember, and that is definitely something you put in the CRM and you talk to. And again, it all works together. You got to be meeting with your annual reviews. You got to be watching the CRM. You got to be asking
Yep.
the right questions. But yeah.
I want to add a little bit to what you're saying here. So lots of times when you have somebody 58, 57, 56, whatever, 55, if there's some way you can make them a client, maybe they have a small IRA that you can manage. Maybe there's a small annuity you can roll over. Maybe there's a life insurance case you can fix. Maybe you just put together a personal financial inventory binder for them and say, hey, we're going to meet every year, right? Here's what happens with annual review, with future sales, is that they're going to happen sooner than you think. A lot of them. They're 57. They're going to change jobs. They're going to lose jobs. They're going to get laid off. AI. I think future sales is going to be one of the biggest things in the next 5 years that you could actually grow your practice on, because all these executives, what happens when they get laid off? They can move their money.
Big money.
Big money. But are you the one that's been in front of them, or did you kick them to the side because I can't feed them today? And what happens, and actually it's the same producer I was talking about earlier, future sale came to play. He met with the client 6 months ago. Happy 59 and a half birthday. They get to come back in. Remember the thing I showed you, right? We got to put together an income for life report. Here's the $50,000 a year at 65 like you want, right? With 30% of your assets, right? And so you really want to somehow make him a client, because what will happen is, we'll get to seminars here in a second, but Mike Stranka did seminars to build up his future sale pipeline.
Yeah.
Yes, he got clients right there, but he also built up his future sale pipeline. And so what will happen as you start to build this pipeline, you will start to have 2 to 3 a month future sales.
Yep. That's what I was getting to, Mike, actually, is do the math on it. Let's just say you're horrible and you only set up one future sale a month, every single month. And obviously, future sales usually mean big money. You're talking 401k rollovers, sales of homes.
Yep.
So on average, at least $500,000 of annuity premium, right, Mike?
Yep,
so
typically
$6 million a year in future sales, you're setting up your pipeline. And then the next year, you're setting up another 6 and another 6 and another 6. Right? So you're setting up a pipeline of future sales that are really start to add up real fast.
100%.
So I agree. That's a huge one people miss.
All right. Well, I think we can kind of lump, just for time's sake here, inheritance, home sale, death in a family. Again, that is a part of the annual review process, but those happen, again, because I'm in front of them, because I'm doing my annual reviews, because I'm having that conversation of, hey, when you have that money event in your life, call your wife, call your spouse, the next person you call is me. And so if you have those conversations, 4, 5, and 6 are going to happen.
Yeah, and if you're doing the binder, you're having that conversation, you're meeting with them for annual reviews, all those, for us at least, are kind of naturally just part of the process, right? And just is going to happen naturally. But the key is you got to be following the process. You got to do what we teach you and follow that process for it to happen. So it's all important. It all works together. So, yep.
All right. And seminars.
You're not talking plate liquors, are you, Mike?
Maybe.
Plate liquors. I did those before, Mike, and you just might be my area is a little different, and I just get a lot of plate liquors, so I don't think seminars is really for me.
I've never heard that before ever. You're the first person to tell me that, Jeremy.
I'm different. My area.
You're different. That's right. You're different.
Yeah.
Okay. Your area is different. That's right. I forgot.
They just don't work in my area.
Yep. So seminars, here's the thing with seminars, guys. They work. They're awesome. You can do educational seminars. You can do dinner seminars. We have turnkey seminars for no matter what style you want to do, no matter what topic you want to do. At Simplicity Minneapolis, we have 5 or 6 really turnkey seminars that you could start right away. Here's the thing. You got to have the right mentality. It's what Jeremy's talking about, is that, you're going to have plate liquors. Educational, you're going to have do-it-yourselfers. You're going to have information gatherers. I don't care.
Does not
I
matter.
do not care.
Feed the world.
Feed them, right? I am looking for 4 to 6 new friends every night.
Yeah.
No matter what, you're going to have people that come there that need your help, and they came there with a problem, and you talked about their problem. So they're going to come see you. And so you just have to put together the system.
Yeah.
Right.
You just need the 6 yeses a night. Forget about the 20 no's, right? The 15 no's, the 10 no's. Mike built his $40 million a year off of 6 yeses a night. That's the way it was structured. 6 yeses a night for him equals approximately 24 million a year of seminars, right?
Yep.
It would range 16 to 24. He was in a snowy area. Sometimes seminars get snowed out, but
Yep.
basically, if you can build off of that, you are going to be in good shape. In fact, one of my top advisors, when I spoke to him, I'm like, hey, tell me your best year ever. He said 9 million. Whoa, you only do 3 million. Why 9 million? What happened? He said, oh, I was doing seminars that year. I'm like, amazing. Great. Why'd you stop? Oh, they stopped working. What do you mean they stopped working? Well, the mail wasn't as good. I was getting a lot of no's, this and that. Oh, okay. So was your ROI good that year? Yeah, I think it was good, but I wasn't really tracking it. Well, this is a story we hear all the time. People did seminars at one point and then stopped. And why did they stop? They just didn't have somebody like us, Mike, walking them through exactly the tweaks they need to make, the changes they need to make,
Yep.
right? If you have somebody holding your hand step by step, hey, you missed this, you missed that. If you tweak this, if you tweak that, the numbers will get a little better. And then you figure out, oh, now I'm getting 6, 7 appointments a night. Oh, but then they're not showing up. All right, tweak this, tweak that. Oh, now those 6 to 7 are showing up at my office, or 80% of them. Great. Okay, but now I'm not getting the first appointments aren't turning into second. Let's tweak the first appointment. And now all of a sudden, first appointments, they're turning into seconds. Oh, now I'm not closing. Okay, talk to Jeremy and Mike. We tweaked that, and now we're closing. Now all of a
Yep.
sudden, Mike, we are doing a consistent $1 million a month just from seminars because you tweaked the system, you had the coach, you worked the gear system
Yep.
properly, right?
100% right. And it comes down to just because one spoke of the seminar wheel is not working doesn't mean that seminars don't work.
Yeah.
And the other thing I would say, seminars comes in waves. You're going to do a seminar and you think you created the seminar and everybody booked. You're going to do one and nobody books. And you're going to do about 2 more and it's going to be about medium. That's the way it works. I mean, I've literally had producers do, typically a 1 mailer equals 2 nights. I've had a producer do a seminar, book 1 appointment the first night. The next night, 10. Guess what? I averaged 4 to 6.
Yep.
And I just had another one where I literally booked 2 the first night, and the next night they booked 7. Guess what? We averaged 4 to 6. It's like you just have to keep doing them.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Very true. So that's a big one.
Right.
And we're going to deep dive into each of these. I know we're kind of hitting the surface level because we don't want to take up too much time on this one, but we'll be doing deep future podcasts with deep dives and specifics on it as well.
All right. Client events. I'll just say quick on client events, Jeremy, that, this is, again, some of these, they web together, right?
Yeah.
Because client events is working with existing clients. It helps you get referrals, helps you, money in motion, inheritance, lose a job, change a job, sale of a home, death in a family. Having people at client events, you get the little Mike Strankis calls it the tug in the shirt, right?
Yeah, oh yeah.
A little tug in the shirt. I got 800,000. I got 400,000.
Yep.
You don't do these client events to talk business, right? But you do them to be in front of your clients, make them feel special, give them that Godiva first class treatment, right? Develop the relationships. And you can ask for referrals at these events, right? And you're going to get the little tugs. I got 400,000 we need to talk about, Jeremy, right? So you're going to get those things.
And people need to know that with the client events, they think like, hey, I'm just going to spend 10, 15, 20 grand on this big event and I'm not going to get any money from it. Well, yeah, if you do it the way most people have been taught to do it, that's true. But if you do it the way we teach it, it's going to make you a lot of money because you're going to get, like Mike said, the tug on the shirt, which could easily be 1 to 2 million in annuity premium at your big event. And then if you do what we call a 1 superb referral process, which we give you the script and the process around that and raffle off a few items. And my advisors get 20 to 50 referrals, Mike, every time they do this, from your best clients, 1 superb referral, solid referrals, right? And then also people need to realize you don't have to just have big events. Mike would do usually 1 big event a year and 4 small ones. 4 small ones is really simply just figure out what hobbies your clients have and build small events around them. Oh, they like golfing. Hire a golf pro for you and 5 friends, 10 friends for your A client. They like wine tasting. There you go. Go to a wine tasting. They want to do a little mini cruise around, the local river. right? They want to, whatever their hobby is, go trap shooting. One guy did. Bring your friends to do trap shooting. Have them just sign a quick legal disclosure. But other than that, there's little client events you can do throughout the whole year, and we'll teach you how to do those as well. Pie giveaways,
So
you name it.
let's do this, Jeremy. I think we should commit the next 2 or 3 recordings. Let's do one specifically on client events.
Yeah,
I think
like
that's
that.
important
For sure.
So,
For sure.
all right, working with professional CPAs. We did cover this before as kind of one of the main A-tier marketing on there. But again, if I have these relationships set up, this is one where it's not going to be consistent, right? You're going to get 2 this month, none for the next month, 3, 0, right? But you got to just be consistently dripping on them. One of my producers she calls it CPA days. After April 15th, she sends them a big basket to all of her relationships that she has. And thanks them and saying congratulations on getting through tax season.
That's fantastic.
It's a good way to develop a relationship.
Yeah. And what I teach my advisors is just set a goal. Try to meet with 1 per month over the next 3 years. If you're meeting with 36 professionals, most of them aren't going to connect with you and send you referrals, but I would be willing to bet 3, 4, 5 of them are, and 1 or 2 of them are going to be rock star referees, right? They're going to send you regular referrals and love what you do and how you do it if you followed our scripting and processing about setting them up and talking them through what you do for them, right?
Exactly. So if you're new to the Frustration Freedom Podcast, we did a mini series on A-tier marketing, and we talk deeper into working with CPAs and professional relationships. So I would say go back and listen to that podcast. Last one to wrap up here: TV, radio, digital marketing. Jeremy, tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah. So most advisors, they're not ready for TV, especially maybe not even radio. That's kind of the advisor who's well established. They have a lot going on. For whatever reason, they don't want to do maybe seminars a lot of times, or they're using the radio or TV to do ads to send them to seminars. So there's a lot you can do. It's definitely more customized to the advisor. So that is something we would have to meet with you one-on-one to determine if it would make sense. The advisors I've seen that are really successful, my advisors are really successful with TV and radio. They typically have a niche market that they're in. I do have some advisors who are successful that they are just on the regular big radio and they have a good program on, usually it's a conservative station that tends to be successful, and they do it that way. Or they just, like I said, push them to seminars and things like that. And same with digital marketing. Digital marketing, kind of the newer wave, right? That I kind of categorize that as the podcast like we're doing. We have advisors who do podcasts. And also we call it a social media boost. So for some reason, the mailer didn't hit right. There was a snowstorm. It just didn't fill up like it normally does, which is somewhat rare, but it does happen. $500, Mike, you can double your attendance at the seminar. And if nothing else, just have some bodies in the seat so the other ones book appointments, even if they are a little bit more tire kickers, from the digital media. So that's an important. That's one of the A-tier marketings we talk about.
Let's just, as we wrap up here again with TV, radio, digital marketing, we can help you out with that. That typically is an immediate return. Correct. Again, that's something where typically, again, it's an established advisor where, hey, I'm adding another pillar that's going to start adding more qualified appointments on my calendar. And so, I would say that's something that, hey, I know I'm going to put in an investment. It might be a 6 to 12 month ROI, realistically. Being complete transparent, right? And so that's something that is probably not the first thing you're going to do is TV, radio, and digital marketing.
Yeah. And one thing I'll say too, going back to the first 1 through 6 and number 8, work in your existing book. We have a strategy we didn't even put on there because Mike didn't have to do this because he built his business like this. But I talk to advisors all the time, and they got 1,000, clients or 500 clients. And we have a process we call the Quick Start program. We'll do a podcast strictly on that and the process around it. We already touched on it before with the software. Just a fancy way of saying bring Mike Steranka's software back to all of your existing clients, and you will write every 10 people, at least $500,000, right, Mike? Every 10 people you show that software to.
Every one of my producers, new producers that actually do the Quick Start program always writes business.
Yeah. It's
now, do they always listen?
Scary going back to those clients you kind of ditched a long time ago, Mike.
I love everybody listening to this podcast. I do. But hey, going back to them is a great way to write more business, because most time they already know you and like you. If they don't know you and like you, maybe it's a good way to reintroduce yourself.
Yeah, you're either going to get more business. Absolute worst case scenario, you fall on your face, you get some referrals. So it's a no-brainer. Rather than spend 10, 20 grand on a marketing campaign for seminars or educational events, do yourself a favor, look at it from a true business perspective, and look at your cost per appointment and your cost per client acquisition. And doing the Quick Start program, your cost is zero. You're not spending any money. So that is the smarter business move to make over just starting off with seminars, right, Mike? I don't know about you, but yes. I don't think I've ever recommended seminars out of the gate for a new person, unless they're already doing them.
It's very rare, very rare, very rare. So awesome. All right, guys. So if you want individual coaching on the 10 core pillars of marketing, again, everybody that Jeremy and I work with is a different spot in their practice. We don't recommend the exact same thing for every person. We're gonna put together a customized plan for you to help you to start implementing these 10 core pillars of marketing. Again, I'll be honest with you, the 10 core pillars of marketing, Jeremy, they're not a shiny object. Correct. They're not some fancy thing out there. They're not some whiz-bang technology, but they work.
They do work.
They do work.
You gotta know how to work.
If you'd like to grow, come join Team Elevate.
And if you're serious, book that call. We want to talk to you. No obligation. We're just having a quick conversation to see if we can help you. If we can't, great. If we can, great. We don't require you to move all your contracts day one. We say date us before we get married, right? Take 3 to 6 months. If you love us and we've doubled your business in 3, 6, 9 months, then of course we're going to say, hey, decision time. Fish or cut bait. Let's jump in neck deep, because we want to really help you grow your business. But yeah, it's 100%. Step at a time. So please book. Just have a quick chat with us and see if it might make sense to do so.
All right, guys. Team Elevate, let's go.
Let's go.